When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comforts me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no illness. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to stay inside for, and no mass media too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. They may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday they'll join us, and the world will be as one, and the world be as one.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
I'm good, Ernesto. Good to see you. Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan Kareem to you too. And Ramadan Kareem and Ramadan Mubarak to all our Muslim friends around the world. Happy holy month of Ramadan.
Beautiful month where everyone spends time thinking about family and not so much about work. And I think that we've all gone through that for the last 2 months in many ways. And actually, it makes a good excuse to do it right now, which is fantastic. Yeah, this is the show, the Toilet Paper Diaries, the show that everybody tries to copy, then realizes they don't have a clue how we do it. And we get 1 or 2 people watching, and they give up the ghost because they're rubbish. But here we are, it's day 35, and we're still rocking it, aren't we, Ernesto?
That's right, and we're getting about 2,000 people watching, whether it is by YouTube, whether it is by Instagram, whether it is by LinkedIn, whether it is by podcasts. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth the effort, and it's just been a very interesting experience to see how people are, trying to do exactly what we're doing and failing miserably.
I mean, many people. I've seen lots of people doing weekly shows. Well, not even weekly shows. It's they plan it like an event that they're going to do a show, and so everybody, come on, go do a show, go do a show. They do it and go, ha ha. And nobody cares. And then they get disheartened and we just stop doing it. I mean, one of the things that we've done, we've seen a gradual build, snowballing effect. It's starting off with you and I just talking on the show, which is pretty much all we do anyway. And then just building up to this powerhouse of knowledge and wisdom and great videos and funny bits and stuff that we'd be arrested for if we did it on any other medium apart from social media. and it's been great fun. It's worked really well, and our hair has grown. If you take the very first episode, you've gone from nice flat hair, looking very cool, bit of a pimp daddy, to afro, and you got afro now, which is cool.
Yeah, I have almost an afro right now. So yeah. Anyway, it's just interesting how people want to figure out what to do. And you know what? For me, this is the most important thing. I mean, you and I, Dave, have been talking about, especially on the speaking industry, about how people need to, to humble themselves and to see how they can serve. Because I believe 100% that everything has to do with serving. And, the more that you serve and the more that you help, business is going to come to you whether you like it or not. And a lot of people still have to be standing in the pissing contest, even in this kind of situation, talking about me, and look at me, and try to get the significance out of this whole thing. And that's why this episode, I think, is going to be incredibly interesting for you guys, because we're going to be talking about opportunities. Most people, what they do is the moment that they take away their confidence, or their circle of confidence, they have no clue what to do. While I thrive on chaos. I mean, I know that you also thrive on chaos. I think that's why we get along so well. And it is just very important that whenever you suddenly find yourself lost, the first thing that you need to do is you have to stop and think before you start moving. I mean, you have to, as they say, make sure to connect your brain before you open your mouth. Or as Andy Grove, from the creator from Intel, said, when you are lost in the forest, before start walking, actually stop for a moment and figure out in which direction you're going. And what we are seeing is right now, people, without really thinking, they're just going into some places that we say, well, they just don't understand what is going on and what this is all about. So today we're going to be talking about opportunities. We're going to be talking about side hustles. We're going to be talking about different things that we need to take into consideration before we start moving forward. So let's get started with the show.
We've got a number of things to go through. We've got things about the news, which we're going to continue with a little bit later on. I've got some stuff on side hustles I wanted to share. And should I start talking about side hustles now, or would you like to move into something else first?
Well, I think it'll be a very good idea to first of all describe what's a side hustle, and then start talking about what would be, proper side hustles. So here's
okay.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much indeed. So a side hustle is something that Ernesto and I have been pushing for quite some time. I've certainly been championing them because I realize that so many people in the corporate world are stuck in a ever-decreasing circle of working really hard, not necessarily getting promoted because either it's not their time, or because of the fact the boss doesn't like them, or the boss likes somebody else, or there's not enough money to be able to promote. And so your job is really dedicated to just earning you what's enough to survive, and you can't increase it without being promoted. Of course, unless it's your own business, that doesn't happen. So by talking about side hustles, it meant you could create a separate business. And this business would run alongside your existing 9-to-5 job. So effectively creating 1.5 jobs. The extra job is really there to boost your income, or to be something that you can enjoy as a hobby that maybe you could turn into cash or not. So some simple examples of side hustles might be walking the neighbor's dogs, or it might be cutting the neighbor's lawn, or washing their cars. It could be something that you create online. So you decide to start selling stuff. It doesn't have to be your own stuff. It could be somebody else's stuff. Maybe you work as an affiliate. So you got somebody's product on one website, and you get a special deal with them. So you get 20% commission if you can sell it on your own website. So you can basically earn by just promoting their content. Might mean making videos. If it was lipstick, obviously myself and Ernesto, well, me, I wouldn't do it. But there's lots of different opportunities. Now, the idea with these side hustles is by having them and building them, they give you the opportunity, hopefully, to grow into making quite a substantial boost to your income. So you don't have to get promotion at work. And it's also a passion job that you really enjoy doing, something you've always wanted to do, but you never had an opportunity to. And it doesn't have to be necessarily labor. It could be something that's a hobby, like making, I don't know, knitting things, doing macrame. It could be actually designing websites. But when you look at all the many opportunities and lucrative potential side hustles you can have, they're useful for many reasons, not just because it's a 1.5 job, but you could end up doing a job that you really love. And if you could do your ideal job and it paid you slightly less than what you're doing right now, would you have a much happier life? Well, you might say the finances make a big difference, but maybe what you want to do then is just do a swap. Maybe what you do is you turn your daytime job into something that pays you about half the wages, but then you have a full-time job, which is a side hustle on a passion project that you really, truly enjoy. So at the moment when I'm talking about it, it seems like, well, that's a good idea. But think about what we're going through right now with all the many people going through huge amounts of employment, of losing their jobs. Those who had started a side hustle would be able to fall back on it if it was something that was online. I think we're going to see a massive growth in that happening. Plus also the amount of people who are going to become freelancers, who are going to be working for lots of different companies rather than just one, who don't want to have a job, they want to have many contracts, they will find themselves in the side hustle market working really well. In the US right now, we're talking about something like 44 million people have side hustles. Now, you can call them freelancers. You can say that they're working for gigs. They could be contractors. But I remember hosting a big HR conference about 2 years ago. And one of the HR directors from a very famous pharmaceuticals company said to me, have a look at this app. And she got a phone and shared it with me. And I saw an app and I said, is that Facebook? She said, no, this is an app that we have for running everything that has to do with the staff. I know where our freelancers are. I can see where every project is. I can communicate with everybody and I can hire and fire people just by using this app. So that's something that's been around for a little while, but the actual ability to create your own job is something that's fascinating. Now, here's why you should consider having your own side hustle. First of all, they're easy to start. You don't necessarily have to start it straight away. You can play with it for a little while to work out what you need to do. You can choose from lots of different options of businesses that you can have a side hustle in almost any industry you can think of. Once you've done it, there's a couple of things that are beautiful about having your own side hustle. First of all, complete autonomy. You don't belong to anybody or anything or any organization unless you choose to. This is your own pet job. It makes it very rewarding when you're earning and doing well because you know you've earned it yourself. You're not part of an infrastructure and you're actually putting in the effort and you see the end results coming from that. You get feedback directly from your customers, from your clients. Whereas if you're working in many jobs, you're on a production where you just pass it on to the next element and the next element to the next element. You never see what the end result is and maybe you never even see daylight or see the customers. You also have the significance that what you're doing is making a difference, especially if you do something that's a passion project, and a huge amount of variety. You can have different elements working on that in your life every single day, and it will still feel fresh when you dictate what the job's going to be. So you can make more money out of it, which is fascinating for many people, and I think right now it's very important. It can be related to your own job. Now, some people might call it moonlighting if you're doing your own job as a freelancer as well as working for a company. But maybe you can do something that doesn't conflict with your rules of employment by doing something that you could do, but you're not employed to do separately for a different company. You could also do it to a different industry, so there's no direct conflict with your existing job. You can build this at your own speed. You could take a year. You can do it over the time that we've got right now. I mean, I'm sure a ton of companies, individuals will start their own businesses, their side hustles right now, purely because they have so much time in quarantine. You can pace it from day to day. You can have a day off from your side hustle, and it makes no difference because it's extra money. And you can choose many things, like when you want to tell the boss at work that you're doing something separately, or not even do that at all. You can keep it to yourself. So managing your time and energy are challenges. Obviously, you can burn out if you run too many things at the same time. But the difference between having a side hustle and not having a side hustle is a huge amount of fulfillment and a huge amount of choice. So there are a number of different side hustles. I mean, there's numerous. I could name 100 right now. But what I'd suggest is if this interests you, you just Google side hustles and see which are some of the biggest ones that people would recommend for you to do right now. I would always recommend right now looking at things that are digital, purely because if you're stuck in quarantine and you don't want to connect with people, the mood has changed to doing more stuff online, buying, selling, connecting. So whatever you do, you might be able to do there. But one easy way of falling back and to earn from a side hustle, two actually, is learning to speak and also learning to coach. Speaking about what you do for a living and coaching others on how to do that in their own business as well. They're the easy, lowest hanging fruit in the garden. So whatever you do, side hustles are hugely rewarding, and there can be financially great paybacks as well. Does that cover everything for you, Ernesto?
Absolutely. I think that you did a great job giving us a masterclass on side hustles. Yeah, and of course, it's just right now we were living in the gig economy, and right now I think the gig economy is going to change dramatically. Let me just explain to you a couple of things which are going to change right now. I mean, the moment that we have gone, everybody, the big corporations, like 3M, like Microsoft, all those big corporations which are all over the world, they're going to realize that by having you at home, they're going to save a lot of money, and it's going to be great to have you working there, because of course they're going to be saving money and having you there. If you still, of course, if everybody has a job, which of course it's uncertain, that's why you have to have your side hustle, as Dave was saying. So they're going to start thinking, well, I mean, it's great. I mean, I have these guys here, so I can just actually get rid of a lot of my office space. In fact, I just saw an article about that 3M was going to get rid of, what was it? 1 million square meters of office space around the world, which is insane. So what does that mean? That basically they are realizing that having their employees working at home, it's going to be great. Now, there were 3 different levels on how we were living our life. First of all, we had the office space, then we have the home space, and then we have the leisure space. The leisure space was malls, was restaurants, was every single thing that you can have fun at. Then, of course, the office space was where we used to go to the office, and now everything is combined into one. So there's no doubt that the world is going to change, and right now the gig economy is going to also be part of the side hustle economy. So we really need to understand how the world is absolutely changing. I'm going to share with you a few more things about how to prepare for this time. But right now, I think it's important that we just cover some of the crazy news which are happening right now in the world. Because I mean, every morning I wake up and this world is just crazier by the second.
I never used to pay attention to news, and I haven't done for about 20 years because I'm just too busy doing other things, and I don't think most news is relevant to me in my world. But now, while we're stuck inside, that's your lifeline. So you do see more about what's going on, whether it's on social media or it's on conventional news media. And yes, you're right, the world has gone bonkers. Give us some examples then. What have you got?
Basically, Ohio Brewery is planning to actually have the world's largest virtual toast. So what they are planning to do is have people from all over the world toasting at the same time through social media and through Zoom.
I tell you what's going to happen, if it's not already happening now, is websites that become virtual bars and restaurants. So whether they supply you with music, or they supply you with visuals, or they supply you with the actual pizzas or the drinks by order, they'll just create a mood and a certain time, and you just pop in there and you see all your friends in there. That's a great place to hang. We could do that, but if I have a few beers at 9 o'clock, it'll be your lunchtime, and your missus won't like it, so I have to change that around a bit.
Yeah, it's weird. So the other one that I am seeing just here is that in Hanoi, in Vietnam, the chefs are actually spreading the joy with the Corona burger. So they're basically creating burgers in the shape of coronavirus. I mean, it's just really insane about all these crazy things that we're seeing. But this one is my absolute favorite. This one comes from South Africa, from Australia. Have a look. This is just so crazy. It says that they have actually found out that you could catch coronavirus from someone's fart.
Right. So therefore, you got to wear rubber pants.
Apparently so.
So 2 questions it begs. I'm sure more than 2. First of all, how did they find out? Who turned around and started? Everyone would cough if they caught one of those anyway. Secondly, why would you be there finding out? And thirdly, why? There's no extra bit. Why?
Yeah, it's just absolutely weird. Now, this one, I also think this one is very nice. The dance school is attempting to have a world record with an online class that they are doing crazy things.
Well, she looks like she's having a coronavirus fart as well. So,
yeah, Franca Mulcahy is sharing with us. Dave, taverns and pubs in Houston are starting to broadcast live from the pub and also delivering food. Yeah, it's just really weird. I mean, right now, what we need to take into consideration is now what we used to call the side hustle, or not the side hustle, but the what we used to call the gig economy. It has already changed completely, because what I was explaining a little bit earlier is that right now we are going to be freelancers for companies. Most people, if you used to work for a large company, suddenly things. I mean, if you still have a job, you're gonna suddenly be like an Uber driver, or like something like that. I mean, they're gonna say, well, you're gonna be working with me, but in reality, you're gonna be working on your own, and you're gonna be measured through productivity. So this is just really weird in the world that we're actually moving to. So that's why it's so super important that we understand what's going on.
But one of the things that we've been talking about for a long time, and ultimately it's a side product of us creating a show like this, but you and I have been on the ball for this for many years. If you don't have a brand, and we turn into a gig economy where everybody's going to hire you because of your reputation and because of your connections and because you've got a proven track record, if you have no brand, how are they going to find you? And if they do find you, what are they going to compare you to? If you do go into the gig economy, and that's what we're talking about right now, because it's the smartest way forward, are you really going to go for a job interview every time you start talking to somebody? And bearing in mind that in some cases, you might be employed for an hour or 6 months or a couple of days or over the weekend on a project. You'll be working with people who recommend that you're a good person, but that means you might never work with them again because they're off on a different project. And you'll probably have about 5 or 6 taskmasters that you work concurrently on different projects, and you've got a special way of being monitored with an app that they check in on and you check in on just to make sure the project's working. If you don't have a brand and you're not known on social media and you've got no reputation because you've been working on a 9 to 5 for somebody else for your entire career, how are you going to start?
We keep on seeing pictures of in the contest, which is how people are actually going to the supermarket. And here are some really interesting examples. This one, it's also somewhere in... if you can see it there, I mean,
it's a party hat on her beak.
Yeah.
And what's she got on her head?
Yeah, that's how she's protecting herself. So people are really losing their mind. I mean, very honestly, every single day I keep on seeing weirder and weirder things. This one, look at him. He's going to be completely protected.
He's just got a box on his head.
Yeah. He's just got a box.
Has he got eyes cut out of it so he can see where he's going, or is he going to do more damage by smashing into stuff?
Yeah, that's what I wonder. I mean, I cannot see the front of his head, but yeah, it's just really insane. Well, this one is my favorite. This is a Walmart patron. Have a look.
Ooh, he's got a plastic bag on his face.
Yeah, and that's how people are. Well, look at this one. I mean, look at this one. It's just absolutely crazy.
What's she got? A sponge.
She's
a washing sponge.
Fiber in front of her face.
But the thing is, it doesn't matter whether she catches anything from this or not. When she puts that much stuff onto her moped and starts driving off, she's going to collapse anyway. There's no way she's going to be driving that very far.
It's just absolutely insane. Another one.
Brilliant.
Supermarket bag on his face. So,
yeah, but look at the rest of him. He's got a bin bag all the way around his waist. And he's got some kind of, I can't tell whether his trousers are falling down or he's actually stuck bags with gaffer tape. He's got a whole all-in-one kind of caterpillar suit made out of gaffer tape and plastic bags. Bless him. Good for you.
Look at this one. That's either, what is that, diapers or sanitary napkins?
I'm not sure if it's either sanitary towels or it's diapers. The thing is, if you look at that guy there, I can't see what a woman looks like from the side, but from the front, have you ever seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Have you seen what Roger's face looks like if you're wearing a mask?
Yeah.
It's like a big fan. As our friend Frank Mulcahy says, these people should have to have a note from their mother if you let them out after dark. And I think he's absolutely right. These guys are, and if they could get hold of proper masks and proper gloves, then this wouldn't be happening. It's the fact that they can't get hold of all the stuff, that they're becoming creative and inventive. And as long as they don't catch anything, they'll be saying, yeah, it was right. And here's the thing for me, Ernesto, I'd rather see people dressed like that, doing social distancing, looking ridiculous but staying safe, than going out not protected, giving each other coronavirus and complaining that it's all made up and it's just spun by the media. Well,
we have been now, Dave, we are entering into month 2. And the Dubai Expo 2020 has been canceled. That was supposed to start in which month?
October.
Okay. Now, the Olympics have been canceled, and that was supposed to start in which month?
June or July, I think.
June or July. Okay, so let's just go and look at this, because this is also an incredible thing, so that you can brace yourself. I mean, right now, Oktoberfest, which is the biggest beer festival in Europe, basically there in Munich, it has also been canceled. So that means October. So people are already started thinking, well, this is not going to end up tomorrow. This is not going to end up the day after tomorrow. Right now, we see here more and more that there's events canceled everywhere. And the more you ask people, they are thinking, well, events are, I do not know if events are going to be happening or they're not going to be happening. And, people are going crazy. They do not know what to do. They need direction because it's crazy. The truth is we are going to be here. And I mean, the more that we try to think about it, it's not about being fatalistic or being negative. But the truth is, most likely, we are going to be here for a while. Possibly, they're going to open the malls, which is happening right now in Dubai. I mean, you were explaining me a moment ago that right now they're going to open the malls.
For Ramadan.
You can tell us a little bit of how that's going to work. And they're doing that for the holy month of Ramadan. And also here, they're opening a few things. But of course, things are not going to... right now, everybody goes out and they are freaking out because, of course, they are wearing sanitary napkins in front of their face, or they're wearing scuba diving gear. How could you actually say, well, world is going to go back to normal. They're going to be reconnecting and getting into normal. That's just not how it's going to work.
No, well, here's what I see as a big problem, because every country is doing their own thing and it's not coordinated by the World Health Organization, probably because they dropped the ball so badly on this. And so everyone's just doing their own thing, and they're driven by market forces, which I completely understand, because there's a recession looming. They want to get stuff going. And the deceptive thing about this is it seems like it's like, do you remember that film Independence Day? I don't know if you remember, but there was a load of people that go on top of a roof and they're waiting to see the aliens, and they start waving all these flags and these signs saying, take me with you, at the aliens. And they're looking at them saying, look, it's opening up. It's really good. They love us. Hi, we love you. Take it. Then suddenly the aliens blast them all. You're going to get a couple of people, or a couple of millions of people, who start saying, we're over it now. Obviously, it's just gone away. But what they're doing is they're reinfecting, and the second wave 100% will come by coming back too early. I wonder, from a very cynical point of view, whether decision makers have decided that it's better to control it and let it happen over a period of time and still keep an economy than keep people safe. And they've just played the numbers and said that's the way it's going to be. And they've done it all around the world. I was just reading about the Bundesliga, the German Premier League, have decided from the 9th of May, they're going to start playing football again behind closed doors. Yeah. So fans can watch it on TV, but they won't be able to go along. Well, I mean, I understand it and I get it. And there's commercial reasons they want to finish off the season so it doesn't impact on next season. But I don't know whether a halfway house of everyone coming out but being careful is realistic or not. I'm not an expert on it, but I worry about it.
Well, what I believe is that we just have to live with the fact that this is going to last for a while. I think what we were saying yesterday, and I think those videos that we were talking about 12 to 18 months is going to be the most realistic situation. So you should start already considering, well, if it happens next month, great. I mean, I'm really happy. I'm very excited about it. But if it's going to be longer, we have to know exactly what to do. So, I mean, right now, I love this picture that they send us. We recommend that you stay at home and binge watch the Toilet Paper Diaries.
And that's what a proper surgical mask looks like.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it looks like. But I think we have to already start living with the idea that this is going to be there for a while, and the world is completely changed.
I just did a podcast interview with some folks in Australia, and they were pushing me very hard to try and explain how the infinite mindset helps in times like these. And I had a thought on that call that I wanted to share with everybody, which is these are not unprecedented times. There are many cases, lists of cases, where change or something unexpected has put many companies out of business and made other companies come out stronger and reinvent themselves. The invention of the internet put many, many companies out of business. The ones who could not reinvent their companies for the internet age, but rather double down on the old way they did business. Every video store is out of business because of streaming, and they couldn't reinvent themselves. When Starbucks moved into neighborhoods, many, many companies went out of business. Many coffee shops went out of business, not because of Starbucks, but because they refused to change the way they did business. They still had an old ripped up couch when you had a better product. Uber is putting taxi companies out of business, not because of Uber, it's because the taxis refuse to change. This is not unprecedented. The fact that something new and this more sudden, absolutely. More shocking, absolutely. Without a doubt. But this is not unprecedented in the business world. And so for us to say, not how do we do what we're doing, but rather, how will we do what we're doing in a different world? And the world is different. And the thing that I said on this interview was, it's the companies that have been investing in will and having an infinite mindset for a long time that will come out of this stronger, because they're prepared. Many of them were saving money as opposed to giving out huge fat bonuses to everybody and spending all the money. And the will of the people is high to figure out a way through it. The ones that are struggling the most are the ones that spent all their money, saved nothing, appeased Wall Street, and the will of the people is low, that people are in survival mode rather than reinvention mode. It's the companies that with an infinite mindset that are in reinvention mode. It's the companies with a finite mindset that are in survival mode, regardless of how much money they have. It's the mindset. How are we going to get through this versus how are we going to change to get through this? So I feel so optimistic because we're thinking about the future. We're in a dark tunnel, but there's a light over there. I don't know how far away that light is, but I can see it. But we're in darkness now, but when we come out of there, we will have a better train. A different train. We will be a completely different business. Some of us will have different jobs by the time we get out of this. And that's our opportunity. The opportunity is, what will we be? Not how do we preserve what we had. That's an infinite mindset. And I'm so proud of this team because my attitude is this, not theoretically, but because I'm watching a team go through it right now. I'm watching people reinvent themselves. I'm watching people think about their jobs differently. I'm watching people think, how can I contribute in a new way? I'm watching people say, what could we be? How will we bring our message to people in a different way, in new ways? That will last forever, by the way, not just for now. So proud of you guys, love you guys. Because we are a living example of the stuff that I'm talking about out loud. I get to say, we are doing this. We're not allowing Uber to put us out of business. We're not allowing Starbucks to put us out of business. We're not allowing the internet to put us out of business. We'll reinvent ourselves. This is not unprecedented. This has happened many, many, many times in business. This one's just a little more sudden.
By different jobs, you don't mean different jobs out of this company, but reinvent yourself within this company.
That is the opportunity. So I know a company, it's a fine dining restaurant in New York City. He's figured out a way to become a delivery company. All of his people have kept their jobs because they have different jobs now. But if you think you're going to do the same job and you're waiting, like if you're a public speaker who was waiting for this to get through so you can go stand on a stage, I got some bad news. That ship has sailed. We have to be a normal company now where we have to market ourselves and develop product. This is a huge wake-up call for us. We had the luxury of being lazy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. There was no reason to reinvent when we're drinking from a fire hose. But now the opportunity is magical. I'm thinking, how do I put myself out there without a stage? This is entirely new for me as well. This is entirely new for me. But I'm not worried about what I do. I'm worried about why I do it. And I will find a job that helps me do that. I'll make a job that helps me do that. And I expect the same of everyone. And here's the best thing, you don't have to do it alone. We've got each other's backs, we'll help each other. Some of it'll be easy, some of it'll be unbelievably difficult.
There's so many things that people do not really understand, and that's why we have to reinvent ourselves completely.
Absolutely. I'll be sharing my online store details on this show at some point, as I'm sure you'll be doing it. And today I did a speaking presentation to a Zoom call full of 30 senior managers, all about public speaking tips. So I think the game has changed. As you said, the ship sailed. It's a case of how you can reinvent, how you can market, and what your brand is worth. I think there's huge opportunities for people, because right now you're not looking at whether you're going to be playing and doing some stuff with a local market. You can work with the entire world depending on what your product is, but you do have to think differently. And I did enjoy watching Simon sharing that with his team. And I think it's something that everyone should take to heart. So Thanks for sharing that, Ernesto.
Absolutely. What I prepared for you is a list of 7 steps in how to take advantage of all the time that we're having, of all the things which are going on, and how to really reinvent yourself. So let's just go quickly over these 7 different points. First of all, the first thing that we have to cover and that we need to understand is that we have to accept reality to be able to move on life. We have to accept the fact that some people are going crazy, like these people getting their garbage bags in their head, and they're going out with scuba gear to do the supermarket. Some people are trying to figure out what they are doing. No, you have to accept that this world, it's going to be like this for a while, and it's going crazy. So that's the first thing that you need to do. You have to move. Start taking action, but accept the reality that this is what it is. It's not going to be changing, and you're going to have to also start believing that your business is important. Simon Sinek was saying there that what was very important was for him to actually have the why. It's not what you do, but it's why you're doing it. You have to believe that what you're doing is important. If you don't believe that what you're doing is important, nobody's going to believe it. Dave and I have seen a number of times, these people that we have said that they are trying to copy what we are doing, but because they don't believe that what they are making a difference, they have already quit it. They have already done 10 shows or 7 shows or 6 shows, and then they quit. Dave and I are here. Why? Because we believe that we can make a big difference. If people do not see that they can make it, that they don't believe that they cannot make a big difference, things are not really going to work very, very well. That is just something which you need to really understand. Now, right now, and this is step number 2, or the second thing that you need to take into consideration, it is time for facts. You have to look at the facts. This is super important. If you don't look at the facts, you're going to be completely confused, as most people are. I mean, they are saying, well, where are they getting their information? Look at the facts. Try to see a little bit behind what's happening today so that you can actually prepare much better. Now, in order for you to do that, you're going to have to do your research. So your research is absolutely critical. That's actually the next step. So you have to look for the facts, but also do your research so that you know that you're actually going into the right direction. And then this is one of the ones that I think is the most important part. Once again, there's a lot of opportunities happening around, and you have to seize the opportunities. This is the next step. You have to seize the opportunities which this coronavirus is actually bringing to ourselves. But before you can actually seize those opportunities, you have to make sure that you are safe at home, that you are building new skills. That's the most important thing. And for this one, let me just share with you a very interesting metaphor. My son Vincent was, until the whole thing started with the coronavirus, he was playing baseball in Little League. He got into the level that he was 14 years old, and he had to go to the next category, which was, of course, a lot more difficult. So previously, he was actually wearing on the all-star team from the 10 to 13-year-olds. But then to actually get into the 14-year-olds, he had to learn a new set of skills. Now, let's say that you would like to continue playing baseball, and you would like to get to play Pro Bowl. The skills that you have until you wear at that specific time will not work later on in life, because of course they are not obsolete. I mean, people are playing at a higher level. If you want to get into playing Pro Bowl, you have to change your set of skills. So one of the things which is very important for people to understand is the skills that they have until they were before the coronavirus might not be the skills that they require afterwards. For example, right now, Dave and I didn't really know how to do these live shows. But we have been working and learning how to do it on a daily basis, and we knew in which direction we wanted to go, and this is how we have done it. We have been developing those skills. That is just the absolutely most important thing that you need to do. You have to reskill yourself so that you will be able to work at the same level of playing that most of the people which are playing right now. The next thing that you need to do, which is also incredibly important, is you need to be seen in social media. Right now, the only way that we could be seen is through social media. But that doesn't mean, put posts or, make a comment or whatever it is. That, what it means is that you have to be there. You have to be contacting people. You have to be sending messages. You have to be online. They have to see you. You have to have a constant presence so that people can see who you are and what you are doing. You have to be able to make sure that people see you. Do you agree with those points, Dave?
Absolutely. I love what you're sharing with us right now. They're very key because I know there's a lot of people who've been considering it for quite some time, but not knowing where to start. And you're hitting the nail on the head with everything. So, yeah, very good indeed.
Hey, before we go, I have two reports from our contributors on the field, which we are super, super proud of having a great number of contributors on the field. We love that we have so many experts sharing stuff with us. And right now we have right now a call from Sheila Brown, calling all the way from Mexico. Let's have a look.
Hello, Dave. Hello, Ernesto. This is Sheila K of SheilaKBrown.com. The question is, what's the greatest gift this situation has provided me? Well, at this time, I would say the greatest gift the situation of being, quarantined in this pandemic has provided me is the gift of community and also family and sisterhood. I'm currently living in Mexico, and I am quarantined with my best friend / sister Claire. And so we are joined at the hip, and we're a family, and we're thriving. Also here in my town in Mexico, there are quite a few other African-American male and female entrepreneurs here, and we've all kind of come together and really galvanized and are supporting each other here as we are thriving with chaos around us. So for me, the gift and the thing I'm most grateful for is family and community. And I pray that, all of you all are doing well in the world as well. So back to you all in the studio. Thank you.
Hi Dave, hi Ernesto. This is Christian Semmich from South Germany. We have a great lockdown here, but to be honest, I was never in fear because I know as entrepreneurs, we all are the heartbeat of the economy. So I decided to think about what kind of services will people need after the lockdown, but also long term. So I created new services, I created a new website, and I was really engaged to put something together that people are going to need and to love. So the gift of the lockdown was time and energy, and just to stay there and have a look around how people react to crisis. And there is the opportunity. Remember, we are the heartbeat. So I hope this was helpful. Back to the studio.
Great from Sheila and great from Christian. Christian is a Swiss samurai. You can see all his samurai swords behind him on the wall. So just if something happened to him in Germany or where he's based now, and somebody broke into their house, it'd be the biggest mistake they ever make. The guy is lethal, but he's such a nice guy as well. So fantastic to hear from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Sheila is also a fantastic coach. All the experts that actually share stuff with us, there's all of them are people that you definitely should connect with them, because I think they are absolutely fantastic. And right now, once again, believe it or not, we have run out of time. So I think it's time to remind you to please make sure that you go and collect your gifts. We are still in gift week. Make sure that you get your digital business card, and make sure that you also subscribe through any platform to our podcast in those addresses that you see over there. And Dave, as usual, it has been an absolute pleasure spending.
Before we finish, Ernesto, before you wind it all up and say goodbye, Dave, and let me go, because I'm wearing a Houston Astros shirt, so I deserve an extra minute. I'd like to suggest, I know. Shall we start a story about the Houston Astros?
No, not yet.
Okay, let's leave it for a little while. If you are a producer or a researcher and you're interested in producing content with us for the show, then contact us directly. We've got a number of big plans that we'd like to share with you. So we're looking to recruit producers and researchers who'll be interested in working with myself and Ernesto and creating the toilet paper diaries and some other properties we're looking at. So contact us directly, and we'd love to share some ideas and see if it fits with you and you fit with us, and we become one big happy family with different dads. Anyway, collect your gift. As Ernesto said, it's been a wonderful experience spending time with you and this very shiny and comfortable shirt. I don't think I'm going to take it off as soon as we finish broadcasting. I'll keep it on for a bit longer. I know, you bought me as a present. I'm very happy, and so are you. So Ernesto, till this time tomorrow, take it easy. It's been a pleasure. Much love, and look after the family. Stay safe.